Tokyo Yakult Swallows slugger Munetaka Murakami is the next big name expected to make the jump from NPB to MLB this offseason. The 25-year-old third baseman has been the best power hitter in Japan the last 4 years. But can his success in NPB translate to success in MLB? Let's take a look. When it comes to pitchers from NPB, the success rate is pretty high. Whether it's a young phenom, a 30-something veteran, a local player, a former MLB player, if they've been successful in Japan, MLB teams feel confident taking their chances. And from their velocity and the kind of pitches they throw, we can make a pretty good guess on how good they'll be in MLB. Can't always guess it right, but close anyway. With hitters, it's so much harder to figure out, and it's harder for those hitters to carry over what they produced in NPB. Pitchers go to MLB and throw the ball same as they did in Japan. Hitters, on the other hand, have to react to the pitches coming toward them, which can look totally different from what they're used to. And these NPB hitters are not like young prospects coming up through the minors. They're veteran players who've been playing professionally for several years, mid to late 20s or early 30s. Suddenly they're facing an entirely new group of pitchers. It can be really hard to adjust to that. That's why MLB teams have been reluctant to sign position players from NPB. And out of those who have been signed, the results have been mixed. Sure, Otani, Ichiro, and Matsui had enormous success, but so many others seem like they could be just as good, only to fail. Also, Ichiro and Matsui made the jump over 20 years ago. We want a more recent comparison. Otani, of course, is a two-way player, so he was seen as less of a risk because if he failed at one, he could always do the other. In the 2020s, we've seen 4 hitters from NPB go over to MLB: Yoshi Tsutsugo and Shogo Akiyama in 2020, Seiya Suzuki in 2022, and Masataka Yoshida in 2023. 2 failures, 1 success, and 1 up and down. Can't call him either one yet. We'll see how Murakami compares with those 4, but first a quick review of his career up to this point. In 2018, Murakami made his NPB debut at the age of 18, but only played in 6 games. 2019, his first full season, played in all 143 games. 36 home runs, 814 OPS. Low batting average, but drew a lot of walks, as he was named Central League Rookie of the Year. In 2020, 120 games, that was the whole schedule that year. 28 home runs, OPS over 1,000, on-base percentage .427. At 20 years old, he had become one of NPB's best hitters. 2021 led the league with 39 home runs, over 100 RBI, and over 100 walks, on his way to winning the Central League MVP. His team went from last in 2020 to first in 2021. Murakami homered twice in the Japan Series to lead the Swallows to the title. Then came the big year, 2022, 56 home runs, 4 away from the NPB record. That came despite a slump in the final month. For a while there, it looked like he was going to break the record. At only 22 years old, maybe the pressure had gotten to him. Also won the Triple Crown. Batting average was no longer a problem. Line was .318, .458, .710 for an OPS of 1168. WAR over 10. Another MVP and another trip to the Japan Series. 2023, 31 home runs. Still one of the best power hitters in NPB. Numbers noticeably off from his 2022 campaign. That had a lot to do with the ball. Everyone's numbers were off a little. But he also struggled at the start of the season. Again, maybe feeling some pressure to follow up the 2022 season. 2024, 33 home runs to lead all Central League hitters. Batting average fell to .244, but on-base percentage at .379. OPS .851. 2025, he's missed most of the season due to arthroscopic surgery in his throwing elbow. But now he's back. 11 games, 3 home runs, with a line of .286, .362, .524 through Sunday's games. 227 career home runs at the age of 25. Always good for 30-plus home runs when he's healthy for the whole season. Strikes out a lot, batting average is up and down, but his on-base percentage is always among the league's best. As a bonus, he's got a little speed, with double-digit steals in 4 of the last 5 seasons. It's obvious to anyone who looks at those stats that 2022 was an outlier. It should not be used to frame your expectations for Murakami's transition to MLB. If he stays in NPB the rest of his career, he'll probably never come close to matching those numbers. His standard season in NPB is 30 home runs, OPS is about .850. It should also be mentioned that he plays in a hitter's park. The home run record, set in 2013, was also done by a Swallows hitter. That's no coincidence. He would not have hit 56 home runs in most other ballparks. But he still would have hit a lot more than anyone else. Just so that we're clear, he is the best power hitter in Japan, and only 25 years old. But we shouldn't get too excited about those 2022 numbers. First thing you might wonder is, if there are so many good pitchers coming from NPB, how has he been doing when he faces them? Well, Yamamoto, Senga, Sasaki, Yuki Matsui all played in Pacific League, so Murakami only saw them in interleague play, not enough times facing them to make a good evaluation. The best pitcher to come out of Central League recently was Shota Imanaga. He's been great in MLB, sub-3 ERA last year, top 5 Cy Young. Murakami had 52 plate appearances versus Imanaga, 13 out of 43 for a .302 average, 6 home runs, 9 walks, and an 1167 OPS. In 2023, Imanaga's final NPB season, Murakami was 5 out of 11 with a walk, 3 home runs, OPS 1864. Those numbers are outstanding, hitting against a pitcher who's very good in MLB now. But then there's Tomoyuki Sugano, who's in his first MLB season. Doing alright, pretty average, nothing like Imanaga but okay. Murakami, career versus Sugano, 62 plate appearances, 11 out of 54 for a .204 average, with 8 walks, 2 home runs, OPS 658. In 2024, Murakami was 0 for 9 versus Sugano, with 2 walks and an OPS of 182. And that's all we've got to compare. He was great versus a great pitcher, bad versus an average pitcher. Doesn't tell us enough. Now, how does he compare with the 4 recent position players to go from NPB to MLB? Starting with Tsutsugo and Akiyama, both went over in 2020, both failed. Tsutsugo was a power hitter like Murakami, hit 163 home runs in his last 5 NPB seasons, including a career high of 44 in 2016. But from 2020 to 2022 in MLB, 182 games, only 18 home runs, 630 OPS, and negative 2.3 WAR. Quite an awful transition. But no reason to sound the alarm, no reason to think Murakami is Tsutsugo 2.0. In hindsight, there were warning signs with Tsutsugo, most notably that he had trouble hitting or even making contact versus anything over 95 miles an hour. He struggled against 95 plus in NPB, so it shouldn't have been a surprise that he had the same struggles versus MLB pitchers, throwing at that speed. And there were more of them in MLB, so naturally it showed more in the stats. Murakami can hit against pitches of all speeds and all varieties. He should be alright as far as that goes. Akiyama went over in the same year. In 2019, his last NPB season, 143 games, 20 home runs, 303, 392, 471, OPS 864. His 2 seasons in MLB, almost the same number of games, 142 games, 0 home runs, 224, 320, 274, OPS 594. This one's harder to explain. He wasn't striking out a lot, he just couldn't get hits, and his power disappeared completely. After 2 years of that, he started 2022 in AAA El Paso, and through 16 games had an OPS over 900 with 3 home runs. Then he returned to NPB where he did alright the last 2 years. Great in AAA and NPB, but couldn't transfer any of that to the major league level. Age might have had something to do with that. He made the jump at 32. There's always an adjustment period for hitters going over, and the older they are, the harder it is to make the adjustment. And it wasn't any normal year, it was 2020. They had part of spring training, then stopped and did nothing for a few months, then started again and played a 60-game season. That messed up a lot of players. It's especially hard on someone moving in from another country. And Akiyama was never the best in NPB. He was good, but the best anyone expected was maybe another Noriaoki. He did alright in MLB, but Akiyama just couldn't do it. Maybe it was his age, or the circumstances, or maybe he needed more than 2 years. Don't know. Murakami will be going over at age 26, in a normal year, and he's a different kind of hitter, so I wouldn't compare him to Akiyama. While Murakami was having that monster of a season in 2022 in Central League, the best hitter in Pacific League was Masataka Yoshida. 119 games, 21 home runs, 335, 447, 561. OPS just over 1,000. No MVP, that went to his teammate Yoshinobu Yamamoto. Since going to MLB, 264 games, 26 home runs, 282, 338, 427, OPS 766. Not bad. A positive contributor at the plate. The problem is he can't play the field anymore. If he's playing the outfield every day and putting up those numbers, then it's okay. But a DH with those numbers, not okay. Red Sox fans hope he can either start playing the field again or start hitting the ball better. Murakami's position is third base. He moved to third full-time in 2022. Prior to that, he spent most of his time at first. So he's got two positions he can play. If he can no longer play those positions, he's better suited for the DH role than Yoshida. So Murakami and Yoshida were NPB's best two hitters 3 years ago. Both good on-base guys, but Murakami's got more power. Yoshida can hit but can't play the field, and cannot be a true DH. Murakami can be a true DH if he can't play the field. Yoshida came over at age 29. Murakami will be 26. Comparing the two, it seems we can expect Murakami to be better than Yoshida's been. But I don't think anyone's looking at Yoshida and saying, that's what I want from the next Japanese star coming over. They want something better than that. So we look to Seiya Suzuki and see how they compare. 2021 was Seiya's last NPB season. 132 games, 38 home runs, 317, 433, 639, OPS 1072. In 4 MLB seasons, 490 games, 82 home runs, 272, 346, 480, OPS 826. Over 20 home runs in each of the last 3 years. Should top 30 easily this year. His time in MLB has been a success. His 2021 numbers look similar to what Murakami typically produces. It was more hitter-friendly in NPB 4 years ago, but Murakami plays in a more hitter-friendly park, so it evens out. In 2021, they were the two best hitters in Central League. Murakami was awarded the MVP, but don't misunderstand that. The MVP awards in NPB almost always go to the best player from the pennant-winning team. Murakami's Swallows won the pennant, so he got the MVP. If they were simply awarding it to the best player, it would have gone to Suzuki. Still though, Murakami would have been a strong second, behind a guy who's gone on to have a successful major league career. But we all know that past results for one hitter doesn't guarantee similar results for another one. Just like Akiyama didn't become the next Noriaoki, Murakami won't necessarily be the next Seiya Suzuki. One thing you really notice when you watch him hit the ball is the amount of power in his swing. He's been compared with Aaron Judge, but more often with Kyle Schwarber. His power is on par with the best hitters in MLB, when he makes contact. If he can locate it right, he can crush it. He's been prone to slumps where he doesn't homer for a dozen games, but he also has times where he gets hot and homers in one game after another. Draws a lot of walks, but often strikes out. Batting average fluctuates from one season to the next. His first MLB season I'd expect to be a rough adjustment. Low batting average, maybe 230, 240. He'll make up for it with walks, so his on-base percentage will be reasonably good. Lots of strikeouts as he gets used to facing all new pitchers, but he cranks out 20 to 25 home runs. Positive production at the plate. 6th or 7th in the batting order, depending on what team he's playing for. And in year 2, higher average, more home runs, fewer strikeouts. He'll get better as the years go on. Not a savior for 2026, but a good 5 or 6 year investment. What team will he sign with? We keep hearing about same two teams, Dodgers and Yankees. The Dodgers are looking for a replacement for Max Muncy at third base. Murakami could be that replacement. Yankees might be a good fit too. He kinda reminds me of Matsui. He also hit 50 home runs in one NPB season. Never came close to that in MLB, but you won't find any Yankees fans disappointed about the Matsui signing. Or some other team might swoop in and sign him. We'll have to find out in the offseason. Anyway, that's all for this one. Until next time, this is Baseball International. See ya.